Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen, and my guest today is Alicia Jones. And she is here to talk about those of us that are over 50 and the things that we can look at and be maybe a little more observant of that will help us in living a healthier life. So, Alicia, I don't know if you want to add to that and tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then we can get into the meat of it all.
Well, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. As you said, I'm Alicia or Alicia. Either way, I don't care
Oh, sorry.
what you call me,
Okay.
as long as you call
You
me.
call it. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm Alicia Jones. I own Alicia Jones Healthy Living, which is a fitness and wellness and weight loss for women over 50. I help transform the health and lives of women over 50 through these different strategies. And I am so happy to be here today talking with you.
Oh, good. I'm happy to have you here.
We were gabbing so much even before you pressed record. We should have pressed record for all of that too, and everyone could hear all of the fabulous talks we were having.
Yes, exactly. You're right. You're right. Damn, we missed out. Okay. We'll just have to do it again.
I know.
So, Elisa, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the kinds of people, the things that you've been working with people on, and and is it women? Is it men? Is it both? Do you do women and
So
men?
I specialize only for women, women that are going through peri-menopause, menopause, even post-menopause, because they're all different hormone issues that occur during each one of those times.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely adore coaching women. I think we were talking even before this that, I'm in my 40s, which is why a lot of women wonder, how actually they say to me, like, why are you working with us? You don't need to be working with us. But I absolutely adore working with the over 50 population. For me, it's a huge passion. I grew up with a grandmother who was very ill as I was growing up because she was a smoker back in her day. In her day, it was normal to smoke. So she had emphysema, she had heart disease. And so I loved her so much. My mom was a single mother. And my grandmother was the one taking care of me, but she couldn't take care of me after a while because she was getting sick and she wasn't able to take care of me. And then years later, unfortunately, she passed. She passed when I was 15. And I grew closer with my mother and we started to do a lot more things. So eventually my mother got to the age that my grandmother was when she passed away. And my mother was the complete opposite. She never drank. She rarely drinks. Doesn't smoke at all. She did her fitness classes, she took care of herself. And so here she was. If you're from Canada, you know this, but she was from we're from Canada, and she did the CN Tower climb with me. And the CN Tower, it was the largest, tallest freestanding building. It has over 1,700 steps. She climbed that with me. And I actually used her as my slogan because I was already coaching at the time. But a lot of the clients that I had that were over 50, they said to me, I'm too old to do that. Stop trying to get me to do that. And I said to them, my mother is 72. And so my slogan was, if she's 72, so can you. And so
very good.
Getting many of these women who are like, I can't do that, to come and do the CN Tower climb. And so she was the complete opposite. And I had this polar effect where I could see what happened when you took care of your health. What happened if you worked on different health aspects, you didn't smoke or you cut back. And so I wanted to share with people what that could do to their health and how that could help you age in a healthy, better quality of life. And so that's why I got into the over 50 population.
Okay. And then what are the different areas? It sounds like you don't necessarily just specialize on one or two areas, that you're really looking at more of a holistic kind of.
I definitely do holistic. I have different programs for different things. So actually at the time that we're recording this, I have a program that is specialized in strength, optimal health and
Ah,
fat loss. It's a combination program together that
uh-huh.
focuses in on strength training, because I don't think many women understand the power of strength training
Yep.
for your overall strength, your quality of life. And for
Yeah.
those that do want to lose weight, it also speeds up your metabolic rate and enhances fat loss a little bit faster because you are working that
Mm-hmm.
muscle. Because lean
Mm-hmm.
muscle declines with age, right? And
Right. Yep.
yeah, and lean muscle is also what is in charge of your quality of life. Studies have been done to show that leg strength specifically, leg strength is correlated to your quality of life, your reduced
Mm.
risk of falls. None of us want to fall. And so it is so, so important to be building muscle without bulking up. You don't have to get bulky or be in the gym every single day
Right.
all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
some weight training 2 to 3 times a week would definitely
Mm-hmm.
help enhance your lean
Yeah.
muscle, help with your strength and quality of life.
Yes. Yes. It makes a big difference. Picking up your feet when you walk also helps with not falling.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You have to pick up your feet, stop tripping on
Yeah.
things, look where you're going too, right? For sure.
Yeah. 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 My husband's real big on telling me that. Pick up your feet. Like, yeah. Yeah. He's picked me up off the sidewalk too many
Oh
times. So.
no. Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah. We'll talk about that some other time. We don't need to talk about it on here.
oh gosh.
But just know that I'm very experienced at it.
Oh, oh. Well, good thing you're fit then.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, and this is for everybody as well, is that if you do fall, then you have to get better before you can get back into your routine.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
it also takes all of the strength in your body, depending on the fall, just goes. It just disappears as soon
Mm-hmm.
as you fall.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really have to spend some time getting back
Oh
into it.
yeah. And I think that's another point, because also like your repair rates shift, right? Like
Mm,
not
yeah,
when you were 20, maybe you fell and then, the next day or two, you're back in the gym, because the reparation rates within the body
right.
are so much quicker. And so you do
Hmm.
need to give your body the time, listen to your body and listen to what your
Yeah.
body's telling you as well. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
like, you know, some people just want to ignore it and they want to push past and go
Yeah.
right into the workout again because they think they have
Yeah.
to, or they need to, or
Yeah.
and also it's the mind to body connection. The mind wants to do more. It's like,
Mm,
I should be able to do more. I want to do more. Let me do more. But, I think it's so important to take a step back as well and say, okay, what my body needs from me right now is to just recover.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Because I mean, I was doing weights of, 20, 30 pounds and some stuff. And after I fell the last time, it was just like, okay, I was lucky if I could pick up 5 pounds.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How long did it take
Yeah.
you to
A lot of fun.
recover?
I'm still, I'm
Oh
still,
no.
I'll show
Mm.
you the bumps and the bruises.
Oh, oh gosh. I'm so
Yeah, I know. It's something I inherited from my mother, not picking up my feet. She was the same way. So, what can I say? They give their own gifts, right?
the gifts that keep on giving.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So do you actually have people in the gym working out with the weights, or do you have them work at their homes? And I mean, how does your process work?
So I am all online. So
Oh,
people
okay.
work with me either one-on-one online. Those are my
Uh-huh.
VIP clients. I also have
Uh-huh.
programs. So for example, like I said, Over 50 Fit and Fabulous is about
Uh-huh.
to come out. It launches a couple times a year. It's a
Mm,
program that is strength training and we talk about
okay.
nutrition. And then
Yeah.
I come on during something called support seats to discuss questions, go over any modifications that anyone
Ah,
needs, and provide support,
uh-huh.
because I think we all know that when it comes to getting healthy, for some people it comes easily and they love
Yeah.
their workouts and they love eating healthy and going to sleep early. And then for others, it's the struggle to try and figure out the formula that works best for them. So that's something that I really work hard with each participant that enters my programs is figuring out, okay, so this is the program, but how can we tailor it to you so that it's something that fits your lifestyle, that feels good to you. You know, not everyone loves working out all the time. I mean, I have to take a step back from that because I am in fitness. I do love working out. I do feel the effects, but there are many individuals, especially that are called non-responders, exercise non-responders. So when they do exercise, so actually 50% of the population approximately are non-responders, which is why the coaching world still has clients, and we always will, because you know, if you do a workout and you don't feel good afterwards, you don't feel any different, you know, or you're just like, yeah, okay, well, I have to, but you know, for you, you're not feeling the effects at that moment. Physiologically, there are effects, as in, you know, you are balancing hormones, your insulin levels become more balanced. You are helping with your heart health, creating strength in your heart and your muscles, but you're not, you don't get that high. You know, have you heard of runner's high before? Where so some people get the serotonin boost right away. They feel really happy. They feel really energized. And half of the population doesn't get that feeling afterwards, even though all of the other great benefits are happening behind the scenes. And so that is really hard for people that are non-responders to find that motivation to continue, right? Because if something, as humans, we want to do things that make us feel good, right? We don't like doing things that are chores or that don't feel good to us. So it's, even though we understand in a logical level that things are helping our health or our physiology or our health conditions, it can be really hard when you're not feeling anything afterwards. And so that's where I also try and brainstorm with my clients and participants in my programs to help figure out how can we make this achievable and doable for you.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I used to run, and I loved running, and that was great, you know, and then I would go to the gym a little bit afterwards, but then, you know, at a certain point I stopped running because I was getting older and I didn't want to bang my joints and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, so now we walk, go to the gym a couple times a week, you know, that kind of thing. But it's interesting because it is so different.
It is. Well, and
the way life changes.
Fitness shifts with different ages, with different lifestyles, with it just, it's not always the same. And I think that's where some fitness experts can miss if they don't understand that there are shifts that occur. You know, you don't necessarily need to be at that exact age and stage, but you do need to understand how things shift and have empathy for those shifts as well for some individuals. I'm a runner too. The way that I run now, though, is a lot different than it was in my 20s. I am not running every day, and no matter what, on little sleep, or, you know, if I had a night out or whatever else, things shift with that. And I also think our priorities shift. You were talking about how you had, you know, especially over 50, aging parents, right? That you have to take care of. We're not just dealing with a difference in, you know, the body or the physiology. What we're dealing with is also life circumstances. You've got parents you've got to take care of. You may be an empty nester if you've had kids, or you might still have kids that need you and depend on you. So you're in the sandwich generation. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stressors that might be going on as well that you also need to address and find solutions to manage the stress and reduce the cortisol levels so that you can feel healthier.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and the other thing that goes along with that, and you were kind of talking about it with the sandwich generation, is that, in fact, my husband just mentioned to me, he was just reading an article, I think in the Washington Post or something, and they were talking about the number of middle-aged, whatever that is now these days, since people are living longer, are taking care of the grandkids.
Yes.
Right. And that's a whole other, you know, because it used to be, it was really nice to see the grandkids and have them running around and stuff like that. But then they would go home. but now a lot of them are home.
Yes. I have a lot of clients and participants in my programs who that has happened to for various reasons. Some of
Yes.
them
Oh,
where
yeah.
their own children have become ill or have
Or
had
working
some
full
mental health
time
issues.
or,
And
yeah.
another thing is, I don't know how it is for you where you are, but here
Mhm.
housing prices have skyrocketed. And so,
Oh, yeah, please.
yeah, so a
I'm
lot of
living in the middle
families.
of one of the highest in the country. Yeah.
Exact. And so with that, what happens is a lot of like people just I'd say I'm the last generation that could afford housing.
Mm,
And even
mm,
then some of my friends have moved back in with their parents and I'm in my 40s. So
yeah.
and that's they're moved back in with their kids and they've moved
Yeah.
back in to become a multi-family home because
Yes.
you just can't afford
Yeah.
to have housing these days. And so what happens is a lot of times that whole divide where it's like, I'm the grandparent. Okay, I've had fun. Now I get to go. It's like, oh, like a lot of the kids are like, live in nanny service. Here we go. And so they're kind of, I don't know if roped into that is a good word, but they're taking on that new role, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, it's interesting because it just occurred to me that if you look back 80 years or 100 years ago,
Mhm.
that was the family structure. Everybody lived in the same house or in
Mhm.
the same little compound, or right, sometimes multiple, if you had more than one child, more than one kid, and they each got married and they each had kids, everybody was in the same place.
Yeah, you make a good point with that.
And then all of a sudden, everyone started working, and they started making all of these houses that everybody could get into. And yeah, it's really it's really pretty amazing just to watch I happen to have been a history major in college, so I
Oh,
think that's why I
well, we're
think
doing
about
a
that.
full
But
turnaround then. We are
yeah,
doing a full
yeah, yeah,
turnaround. Mhm.
yeah, but I don't think anybody realizes it.
Well, and it's so funny because it's all in perspective as well. I think now
Yeah.
it's such a, everyone, and I understand this. I remember I'm pretty new in this house, and I remember when we were looking
Mm-hmm.
for a house, we were terrified. My
Mm-hmm.
husband and I were terrified. We were like, are we actually going to be able to afford something? Things were on the
Yeah.
market, we could afford them, and then somebody would come in and bid like
Yeah.
actually up to $300,000 higher than,
Wow.
it was just
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
And so we were really worried too. That's why I say I'm on the cusp of that. But it
Uh-huh.
was almost like, I think it's like, oh, we're gonna have to live all together again. Like you're used to one way, you're used to
Yeah,
then being
that's
all
right.
separate. That's how it is. This is your independence. This is a part of,
Mm-hmm.
your self-worth, thinking to yourself, you get your own
Yeah.
and you're independent. And then
Mm-hmm.
like what used to be the norm, and it used to be almost a privilege to have your own place. Now it's kind of like we take it for granted,
Yeah.
so that's interesting.
Yeah. 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 No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Everything comes around, huh?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that being said, we've gone down that rabbit hole. Um, so do you do you out of curiosity, so do you find that sometimes, I mean, I know you work primarily with women.
Mhm.
Are there times where the women share the information that they're getting, or some of the practices or whatever, or bring their husbands along with them to go to the gym? And because
Well,
sometimes the husbands
when
don't
I
really
work
do it,
with,
right?
so when I work with women online one-on-one, I actually have a few of my women clients who come with their husbands. So we're training all
Okay.
together. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
so absolutely. Like you can definitely do that. For my programs, we talk a lot about hormones. We talk a lot about menopause.
Mm,
We talk a lot about post-menopause because I'm sure you know that post-menopause, you have to worry about osteoporosis, you have to worry about heart disease more, thyroid shifts as well. So, or could
yeah.
shift. I'm not going to say it does
Yeah.
shift. It could
Uh-huh.
potentially.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
issues that as women, we have to go through that men don't have to go through. And Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's not necessarily true, though.
Well,
They
they go
have
through
their own version.
andropause.
That's right. And they also have hormonal issues.
Yeah. Oh, and I totally agree, but I think they're just on a different spectrum. Like
Yeah. Oh, no,
men
no, no.
tend to
I
get lower
agree.
testosterone. Women can get lower
Right.
testosterone too, but
Yeah.
it's
Older.
usually
They started older. Yeah.
yeah, and it's usually I also find that I don't know, we could get into a whole
Yeah.
discussion on hormones of men and women, but I find that it andropause for men, as far as I know at this point, don't
Uh-huh.
necessarily understand that they're going through it, or it doesn't
Right.
tend to
Yeah.
be as severe as certain women going through perimenopause or menopause.
Yes. Yes. No, no, I understand. I understand. The only reason I brought it up is because I actually had someone on my show a few weeks ago who, a doctor who works with hormones
Uh-huh.
with men and women, older men and women,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how important that is. And they've got it now. And this is just for keeping, you're making your memory sharper and just having your body working better, not trying to get out of menopause or get out of andropause or any of that kind of stuff, but just making your whole life better,
Yeah.
right? And it was really interesting because they've gotten the hormones to the point now where it comes in cream and you just rub the cream on.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point because, I've done summits before and
Uh-huh.
had YouTube guests and that sort of fun stuff.
Uh-huh.
And always this debate I find, and between should we do hormone replacement therapy, should we not do it?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a wrong answer. I think there's a right
Yeah.
answer for you, and you need to figure out
Yeah.
what is best for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I agree. I agree. And that's what was so interesting about this, because it isn't hormone replacement. It's kind of hormone just to prop you up a little bit kind
Hmm.
of thing. Right? You see what I'm saying? Because the hormone replacement is like full on, women start getting their periods again. I mean, God forbid, right? Don't want to go through that anymore. Um, so it's
Wait for
it's really,
menopause, eh? I can't wait to go
yeah,
through
there you
post-menopause.
go.
No more
There you
periods.
go.
There you go.
Exactly. Exactly. And I don't want it coming back either. So it's it's there's this fine line, and what he was talking about was kind of like, no, 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 this is just to keep you working, keep the body working better, and the mind, the brain, and all of that, um, which I just found so fascinating.
Yeah, I will. Yes, definitely when hormones are off balance. I mean, brain
Yeah.
fog is one of the main symptoms, right? Hmm.
Bingo. Yes. Yes.
And lack of sleep, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have that problem, but yeah. Oh, you mean if people don't get enough sleep? Yeah, that's brain fog as well. But yeah, but otherwise I'm fine with sleeping.
Me too so far, knock on wood.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what do you find in working with older people, right? Are there certain things? I mean, I know it's all very personal
It is all very
because
personal.
everybody's a little different, but there are some general things as well, I would
General
think,
thing,
right?
I mean, one big thing is just, first your warm-ups may need to be a little bit longer when you're working out. You may
Mm-hmm.
need to go up to 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. You really need to make
Mm-hmm.
sure your joints are warmed up. The
Mm-hmm.
formula to fitness shifts a little bit more. So as we spoke about, you do need to make a shift more
Mm-hmm.
towards weight training or strength training, because
Okay.
the
Uh-huh.
lean muscle is definitely something that you
Uh,
need to start building. You,
mm-hmm.
with every decade, we start to lose more and more lean mass. And so it is so important to ensure that we're enhancing our lean mass, that we're sparing our lean mass, we're keeping the level of lean mass that we have, because it is so
Mm-hmm.
connected to our strength, our quality of life, and if you want fat loss as well, to help with the metabolic rate.
Right.
So it is so important. Also for bone density, it is
Oh,
so
yes.
important to do
Yeah.
weight bearing exercises And so overall, that's something that you need to emphasize a lot more. And I still see
Uh-huh.
a lot of women that are in the older generation trying to focus more on cardio. And absolutely, you want
Ah.
to focus
Well,
on
yeah.
heart health. Of course, when
Hmm.
estrogen levels decline, right, then your heart is more susceptible to heart
Hmm.
disease, right? So
Mm.
estrogen is no
Okay.
longer protecting as much, especially post-menopause, and you
Okay.
need to be really focusing on heart health. But that,
Uh-huh.
first off, I think that people don't understand that weight training also strengthens your heart. It reduces your blood
Yes.
pressure. And
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, and cardio is important, but overdoing the cardio and not focusing on strength training
Mm.
at all, that's going to be a downfall to your overall health and well-being in the long run. So that's one thing. I think two, also, there is overuse injuries that have occurred because, well, you've
Mm.
lived a little bit longer. So of course you have been doing repetitive motions for a long time, even cooking, for example, moving the pots from one place to another,
Oh, yeah.
driving forward creates a lot of shoulder issues, holding grandkids, holding kids, digging in the garden. All of these motions are motions that are wonderful for your health, but they are
Uh-huh.
repetitive and you may have been doing
Yeah.
them now for many, many decades. And so
Uh-huh.
you have to start doing rehabilitative exercises, whether or not you feel pain. I've started doing them too since I've entered my 40s.
Uh-huh.
Because you want to make sure that the muscles are balanced. You want to make sure that you're taking off the most pressure from your joints in order to strengthen
Okay.
around the joints and the surrounding structures, so your joints can be as healthy and pain-free for as long as possible. And these motions tend to be smaller. People
Mm.
are like, oh, well, I'm not feeling like a super intense workout. No, but you are enhancing synovial fluid, which is the fluid, the liquid in your joints. You're lubricating the joints. You're creating more
Mm-hmm.
mobility. You are creating more quality of life because you're going to be able to take more
Mm.
steps, garden longer,
Yeah.
lift the grandkids more, drive for longer, because you're not feeling this excessive pain from overuse injuries. So that's
Okay.
another big thing that I see.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think the other thing is as well is that it doesn't length of time doesn't have to be long like it is when you're younger, right?
That's
You
right.
know, what they show, you only need like four minutes or something of cardio type of stuff.
Yeah, depending on the intensity. So if you're doing
Yeah.
high intensity interval training, three
Yeah.
minutes to 10
Right.
minutes is
Yeah.
all you need. And when I say high intensity interval training, sometimes, especially those that are just starting, are like, whoa, I don't want to do high intensity. But
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you're brand new to fitness, going up a hill is high intensity interval
That's
training.
right.
Walking
Yes.
upstairs, if your knees can take it, is high
Yeah.
intensity interval training.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
question is, how many times can you go up a flight of stairs or a hill in your day? It doesn't need to be all at once. It's actually called incidental
Okay.
exercise, when you get little bouts of
Ah,
exercise
okay.
throughout your day. If
Uh-huh.
you can do that throughout your day a couple times, you've done your high intensity interval training. You don't even need to create an extra amount of time on top of that where you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly. Just walking fast.
Just
Just walk
walking
fast for a
fast.
block or two and
That's,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And I think we've all been late for something in our lives, right? Have you
Thank
ever been late?
you.
Yeah. So, okay, late, then get out of the car or the bus or the train, whatever, and just walk a little bit faster to get there. And there you've done your high intensity interval training.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's like, you don't necessarily need to say, I've got to do longer. I've got to do 4 hours. I've got to do an hour of walking, this, that, and the other. If you enjoy it, if it feels good, if you're an exercise
Fine.
responder, as we've talked about, and it actually feels really good, great, go for it. It's
Yeah.
definitely going to help with your overall well-being and health. But if you are shorter on time, or, you're just trying to get in more for the sake of getting in more, you don't need to bother. Just have a quality workout, focus on
Uh-huh.
very good quality. So weight
Uh-huh.
training, high intensity interval training, which we talked about, doesn't necessarily need to
Right.
be, super running
No.
and,
Uh-huh. Right. Oh,
pumped
no.
up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do that. And then of course, stretching and rehabilitation are also really, really important. And you can incorporate all that into a very quick, compact
Hmm.
workout.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Even if it's just parking a little bit further away from wherever you're going
Yes,
and
parking a little
walk
bit
fast to
further.
wherever you're going. Yeah.
And right now, gardening season is coming up, at least here. I mean,
Uh-huh.
are you doing garden? Are you gardening? And when I say gardening, are you
Mhm.
raking the stuff up from before? That's high intent. Oh
You're
no.
not looking at you're not looking at a gardener.
Oh
I
no.
don't
Okay, so
do
how about
any of
having
that.
to clean your house? Do you clean your house or do you get somebody to do it for you?
Neither. I
Oh, you
just
just
live in a dirty house.
all right, okay.
That's a whole nother
Well, those are
conversation.
gone.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have grandkids?
Yes, but they're grown. One of them has, well, actually, they're both grown. They're
Oh,
both
so you
grown.
can't lift them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still lift them
No.
and then you get a crate.
No, I don't think so. They'd have to lift me. One of them's over 6 feet and a female, I mean, woman. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well, then all of those are gone. So yeah, just park further. If you go shopping or
right.
you
Yeah,
you like to go out, then just walk a little bit
yeah,
faster doing that.
yeah, exactly. Yep. So on that note, we should probably finish up here. And
Well, thank
thank
you
you.
so much for having me.
Hey, this has been wonderful, and we will have to definitely set up another time to maybe go a little deeper on one or two specific subjects. That would be great.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah.
having me.
Okay. And with that, I will say, which I always do, which is that neither of us are doctors. This is not medical advice, and please don't take it that way. And with that, I will see everybody next time.